BuildSuite is a contractor opportunity network that is a AI proposal engine. It's the opportunity where you have leads there, and it's a business CRM all in one platform, built especially for trade contractors in local markets. This is your proposals that you have either sent out or that you've submitted. So it will track all of the proposals that you're in here. You can see what your live proposals, my proposals in this area. But if you wanted to create a proposal, you could come in here and create it. So we could do it this way if you already have a project, or we could even do it this way through our deals. Let's do a kitchen. So let's do a full gut for a kitchen remodel. So we'll come in here. It will actually ask you, what your scope of work we put in here, so we can, instead of texting and or typing it out, put this in here. I'll allow this. I want to do a full kitchen remodel. I want to replace all the cabinets, all the countertops, the sinks, the faucets. I want to replace all the appliances, install new cabinets, new countertops, backsplash, new cabinets. We'll pause, and then if you're thinking about something, because this is all meant to actually have it on your phone in the driveway, waiting for a customer to come back out. This is all meant to actually be pretty much on the spot, or you could do it on your computer when you wanted to get back. I want to replace the kitchen flooring with new hardwood floor. I wanted to finish with a Swedish finish. Yeah, I want to replace all the lighting, put 8 can lighting, and I want to replace the plumbing and move the sink to an opposite wall and actually take out a wall. All right, so you could probably get a little bit better with being there, looking at the project. If you still want to do that route, but you could probably just have a phone conversation and have them send you pictures. So if they send you pictures, or if you have pictures that you went out and took, you could upload them right here. I'm gonna do this one, and let's do this one. So they upload in here, so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm gonna say it's here in Bellevue. The time frame is 2 to 6 weeks, and the budget is 150 to 100,000 for this the kitchen. And then this is my contact information. So I'm going to start the intake questions on what this is going to ask me to do for the creating the scope of work and the proposal for this kitchen remodel. So a couple of this takes time. So what I'm going to do, why that is actually just running and uploading the pictures. So what part of the kitchen are we updating? We're updating the cabinets, countertops, backsplash, lighting, electrical, plumbing, appliances, flooring, and then it still has the stuff from the previous. This is just to catch it up. No, we're going to be changing the kitchen layout. We're going to move the sink to an opposite wall. We're going to demo out a wall and wide open the kitchen and make a island. So what is the age of the plumbing? I'm going to say the house was built in 1920. No, we don't need this temporary setup, because no, I'm going to say that the people are moving out. The capacity of the good question. Let's see. Uh, let's just go 220. That's fine. I'm going to replace the cabinets, the countertops, the backsplash. It's just basically confirming some of the stuff that we've actually said in there before. If so we can make sure that it's correct, and also you can actually let it to where we can make a recommendation in there. What specific plumbing and electrical changes do you anticipate? I've got to move the sink. I'm going to add outlets. I'm going to add a gas line for the new range. And then also, if there was, something that let contractor recommend, if it's not, it's something that you actually still see here because we're moving the wall. Is there any HOAs restrictions? No, there's no restrictions. Yes, I actually did notice that there was some flooring damage. Yes, there is going to be some load bearing. I don't know. Again, I'm all making this up. So if somebody had a project, we could do the same thing, and we'll go through and actually walk through. So it's actually creating the scope of work of actually the back end before it even creates the proposal. It comes up with all your assumptions, all of your allowances, and stuff like that. And determine whether or not you need to get different permits, and then it rates it on a scale of how confident it feels based off of the questions. Because if you just go in there, I'm doing a kitchen remodel and I want to replace cabinets, it also assess the pictures that you put in and upload in here. So it kind of goes off that, and some of those pictures that were in there were some of the nice ones. So it's probably wondering like, okay, where are we opening the wall, that kind of stuff. Once you get into the scope of work, you can create and edit different ones in the the areas that you need. If you don't see a specific thing like, hey, I want to do 12-foot wall and I need to put a new beam and stuff like that before you actually create the proposal. So it will actually put that in the proposal. Um, so like that fast, it actually created the, so I'm going to collapse all of them so you can actually see all of the assumptions and all of the stuff. It analyzed the photos. It actually says what the completion criteria is, full kitchen operational appliances, punch list items, um, our change work order, assumptions. It says, the change work order is risk is low. So it's saying that based off of the scope of work and when we create the proposal, the change work order that it's suggesting is probably pretty low. If it was high, it's probably asking you to probably verify some more options on here. Exclusions, like, hey, there's no temporary kitchen, no landscaping or exterior work. All of this stuff that it's saying, that, hey, if we need to upgrade the HVAC, because I didn't say anything about moving vents or anything like that, didn't say anything about painting, so it left all of that stuff out. It also come up with a preliminary estimate. So if you wanted to just create the scope of work and send it to a client, like, hey, this is going to be your estimated budget. This is what it would be. That you can actually streamline that even a little bit better by editing right here, and you can come in here and say, no, I don't want to say that because it looks like it's too broad of a range, and you wanted to be maybe 74,000, and save that. So you can change everything in here, to more suit your needs up here. This is the scope of work, your pre-construction and project management, your demolition, your rough plumbing and electrical. I mean, of what we're putting in here. I mean, it obviously knows that in the kitchen that we're associating it with a gas stove. If there's a specific one that it, needs to be for a fireplace or something like that, extravagant that's not in a normal kitchen, then we could add that in there if we want, right here. And then, it has the overall view. So, and if it's completely off, and if you want to regenerate it, you could hit regenerate. If you want to download it into a PDF and change it, or if you want to download it in a doc and change things and add things to an existing proposal template that you have that you want to create this alone right here, like if you just expanded them all and saw everything that what it's doing, backsplash, flooring, plumbing, electrical, drywall, and knowing what is in most kitchen remodels. That's what this would do. Then let's just go ahead and generate the proposal based off of this. It takes some of that stuff out, it generates it, and actually gives you a full price of what you should actually send to this person. So yeah, and that less of a time. So I went in there and explained a little bit more, but under 10 minutes, you just created a scope of work and a proposal. So if we wanted to view the proposal, this is what it would look like. Got your old kitchen remodel, your executive summary, your project, your highlights, your scope of work that you have in there, and what needs to be done in there for the homeowner to read and go over. And granted, you could go through this and actually customize and make sure, but even having all of this information in here already to just be able to edit is priceless. Is it going to help you save hours on even your project? Writing up your proposals, comes up with your materials, your timeline. It breaks down, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 week, 6 week, and what it needs to be done so that the client can see that stuff. Comes up with your pricing of how it is, and so a lot of owners are asking for price breakdowns nowadays. So it breaks down all the prices. If you want that to be seen, that's fine. If you don't, you can actually take that out and just send them the summary, or you can change all this. Like I said, this is a generic one that we've created. People can customize it the way they want with our templates, coming up later. So this actually said that the subtotal, that what your estimated price should be $79,000, $750, and the price that in confidence that it's filling is very firm. So I don't know, creating a proposal on that, the payment schedule it has broke down, so basically you're getting basically 60%, basically at the start of the demolition. You can go in there and change that however you feel comfortable. If you want to do 25 or 10, or 50, or however you want to do it in yours. Again, everything is edible. It goes in here, it provides your warranty, what your change work order is, what your exclusions, if there's any permits that you'll be obtaining, what city it is in, that you've already, structured it for, and what your insurance. I dropped our founding contractors offer.